Hey guys, how y'all doing? My name is Nic and this is the Don't Move, Improve podcast by Munz Construction. And with me today is Anthony, our renovation specialist. How are you doing?
Very well.
Right on. So you've been here for 5 to 6 years. From what I know, your background is in construction. So what was your profession beforehand, and how did you become a part of the Munz team?
Right place, right time, wrong place, right to however you want to say it. I had someone reach out to me. This is a couple years before I ended up at Munz, and he wanted to start his own company in construction. And he didn't really, he wasn't too well versed with the business side of things and was more versed with like the hands-on. So he said, can you kind of run the business side and I'll handle the work? And at the time it was kind of just like, an idea. And I said, sure, let me know when you're ready. 2 years later, after that conversation, he came back and he said he was ready. We ironed out the details and we kind of went to work. Handled the business side, the jobs, obviously, making sure the checks continue to roll in, set up accounts, logistics, just everything except for the hammer, so to speak, right? And that's where I kind of got my suit was more people, right? I could deal with people. Just put me in any situation, and I feel like I'll be able to adapt. And it was really no different with that. I also had some help along the way, like most people do. I definitely didn't figure it all out on myself. I took what was taught to me and then tried to improve upon that. And I was never like a black and white kind of guy. I always just made my own lane, for better or worse. That's just always how I've been. And I want to say, through the pandemic, it didn't stop at the pandemic. We worked through the pandemic, and the gentleman actually ended up having a child, firstborn. Nothing changed from that point. Obviously a little more stressful with the kid, but then a short time thereafter he had twins. And at that point, I guess he was just really feeling the pressure, and unbeknownst to me, out of kind of, to me, left field, he said, I'm moving to Louisiana. And I was like, okay. Immediately I was like, what am I going to do? Right. He goes, we're going to do this for 2 more weeks kind of thing. Wasn't like, hey, stopping tomorrow. And then from that point, though, I essentially had to figure out what I was going to do. And like you said, my background wasn't always construction. It was more business, hospitality, relations, things of that nature. So I wasn't too sure. But typically, like when my back was against the wall, I always just seem to figure it out in life. That's probably when I perform the best, to be honest with you. So I didn't figure anything out. My mom actually figured this one out.
Right on.
She came up and said, what do you think about Munz Construction? And I wasn't too well versed. I was like, what do you mean? And I just know that the owner's wife used to do my mom's hair, and they used to be good friends. They're still friends. But she actually knew me when I was very little. They were friends. She actually gave me a bath. I joked with the owner about that.
Nice.
That when I was little, I guess she was, I don't know if it was babysitting or if they're hanging out together, but I was told that Mr. Munn's wife gave me a bath when I was little. So I had no clue who Chris was. I said, sure, I would listen, because I was open for opportunities at that point, just trying to figure out my next move. I had a family of my own. I'm not going to stay stagnant. Do what you got to do. And the rest is history. We had a call. Where I started here compared to what it is now is vastly different. But I could say that's probably attested to who the owner is. He's not really a black and white kind of guy either. He always kind of found a way, at least from what I've been told and what he's told me about him. And it was never like the straight path. It was kind of up, down, around, and just figured it out. So I know at least he kind of respects my strengths, which in some people's eyes may be weaknesses, right? So he gave me an opportunity, and I just try to make the best of it.
Yeah. in the year and a half that I've been here, Munz Construction has changed a ton. Like, we added the new town office, brought in a ton of new people, growing very rapidly. And from what I hear, even going back 5 or 6 years, it's just growing and growing and growing and changing. How has your role changed from when you first got here till now?
I would say like I kind of, in a way, it organically became what it is. Mm-hmm. It started off what was supposed to be, so to speak. I was kind of estimating and sales, but with that being a design build firm comes, some design work as well. And I am not a designer, right? I can through experience at this point, I could design something and say, let's put this here, that there, right? But as far as like the building and the 3D renderings and everything, that was almost unbeknownst to me when I got brought on, like part of the job. And again, now everyone, you have a designated person for that now, right? But like you're all of it when I started. And that just wasn't me. That was not me. Steve still to this day would pound that down my throat to be able to do that, right? And I understand exactly why, because the more tools you have, the more dangerous you are, so to speak. But that wasn't me. And I felt like I was wasting time drawing, right? Mm-hmm. As opposed to selling, because that's ultimately what I was brought here for. Mm-hmm. And since then, they've shifted, right? I don't think willingly. I think it was like to just realize like that wasn't going to be my strong suit. And now I kind of almost am a project manager, you want to say. It's not that title. It really isn't. But now what I do is kind of run jobs and sell jobs, mm-hmm. In a way. So that's just how things have developed, mm-hmm. kind of without really thinking about it.
Yeah. Playing into your strengths. Like, I know when I did the podcast with Chris, he was really about, bringing on the right people and letting them do what they do and focusing on their strengths. Because, his strengths are different than my strengths, and making sure that everybody's strengths are highlighted in what they do, Looking back to the previous role you had, and then you come to Munz, what makes Munz stand out to you? And, just being in the industry, how is Munz different compared to other construction companies, design build firms and stuff like that?
Reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Reputation. There's other people that have good reputations, but like what makes my job easier is reputation. Mm-hmm. You get what you pay for in this field, and a lot of times people find that out the hard way, and then we get those calls too. Mm-hmm. I field the calls that come in, and a lot of them are that, I've had times where they respectfully declined our services because of costs, which I understand. A budget is a budget, but then ended up calling back after they had a nightmare with someone who was a little bit less. Mm-hmm. And big picture ended up costing them a little bit more, because then they had to pay us and the portion that they paid them. So I wouldn't say that, I think that if you ask Chris, he wants to be for everyone, mm-hmm. We want to be accessible to everyone. But when you hit a certain quality of work and threshold, not everyone's looking for that. Mm-hmm. Not everyone's going to feel the value in that, right? My job is more, in my opinion, explaining our value and our process to make sure that we're offering what you want. I don't want you to move forward with us if it's not what you want. We appreciate every opportunity, and I think that we will make the most of it. But I also know that like not everyone might feel our value, but what we do is go above and beyond. So whether you get an addition, which is a full, architectural plans, we're going for zoning possibly, there might be a variance, a lot of different intricacies there, or it's a simple powder room. If you move forward with us at Munz, it's the same process. Design build, you're going to have a project manager, you're going to have an interior designer. And there's certain people that might say like, hey, it's just the bathroom. Well, at that point, we don't we might not align because to us it's your bathroom. It's not just a bathroom.
Yeah, I think you coined the phrase "chucking a truck," or I heard that first from you when I talk to a lot of people, especially in my.
I don't think so. I think I heard it somewhere.
Yeah, when I talk to like my family about like what what we do, I always like to use that phrase. Like, you can hire Chuck in a truck who says he can do everything, and he's going to be cheaper than us, almost guaranteed. But the quality and the efficiency and just the whole customer experience is going to be better when you're working with Munz Construction.
The deliverable.
Yeah.
The deliverable. But I can break it down in the simplest of terms.
Yeah.
A bathroom, right? You have electric, you have plumbing, you have tile work, you have drywall, you have paint. Why would the cost? Why is there a gap in the cost? We have a master plumber. We have a master electrician. We have tile setters for tile, right? We have drywall finishers for drywall. Everyone is trade specific with us, right? Who is a master at their craft in their lane. We don't have our plumber running your electric who can't pull permits in either, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's licensed. Mm-hmm. So that comes with a cost.
Yeah.
But it also comes with the quality.
Mm-hmm. So let's dive into a little bit more about your day-to-day life. Mm-hmm. We had everybody here in Holland, and then I would say 8-9 months ago, we moved to Newtown. How was that transition? Are you liking it? Feeling it? And
it's definitely different.
Yeah.
It's different. You grow, things change, right? The company grows, and we joke around and say it's different. It feels like the band broke up a little bit in the way, because of everyone used to be right on top of each other, for lack of a better terms. And you'd have the camaraderie, right? And you still have it, but now it's like, at least with the space and the growth, we used to joke around that not everyone had offices, right? There was like a makeshift area for someone as we kept growing, and all of a sudden, we were bursting at the seams, which then the change was made. Now everyone has an office for the most part. And with that, though, comes different day-to-day as far as your interaction goes. So it's good if you want to just focus on what you have to do, which is ultimately why we're here, right? We're not here for the camaraderie. We're here for business and to make sure that we keep the doors open, so to speak. But the one thing I always admired about working for Munz as my employer was the atmosphere. As I get older, the value on that, you can't really put a dollar amount to it, but I can tell you that never in my life will I have a position that I hate going to. And I do not hate going to work, and it's not that atmosphere, right? It's a good atmosphere, and they ultimately will, for lack of a better terms, give you enough rope to hang yourself with. Chris always jokes that Fred said he ran a loose ship, but the way Chris runs things works, because clearly just look around, right? So I think that speaks volumes, at least to him as an owner, and not micromanaging things. I think he does a very well job at that, and everyone kind of has their role.
Yeah. I like the freedom that we have to do what we do, and I think that goes back to allowing the experts at what they do what they do. I've worked for other employers that are a little bit more micromanaging, and that's not how you get the most productive work out of people. You gotta let them do their thing, and I think Chris does a really good job at that. And same with the whole managing team. In my experience. So like, what is your day to day? You show up in the office, you take a few phone calls, site visits, I'm assuming, and then you like check up on your jobs.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming, because you're checking up on your jobs, you're probably doing a lot of coordinating too, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's where it changed. It used to be like kind of sell, and after that it was like went on to the design team. Now what I do, it's sold, but then I'm running it, and then also running jobs that I'm not selling too. They're kind of getting put onto my plate now. It's just a lane that was created that used to not be, which I do take pride in, right? And me coloring outside of the line, so to speak, is what created the ability to do that. It started with an idea, and now it's a thing. So I don't think it's reinventing the wheel. If anything, it was just opening up another lane of opportunity for us, as opposed to us lumping us into one way of doing things. We now have two way of doing things, because actually in this office when Chris was here and I was over there and there was no window, no door, no anything, we would turn down jobs countlessly that weren't a fit for us, right? And it's not that we didn't want to do the work. It was just like, you might not feel the value because of that full process in which you have the interior designers, you have the master plumbers, the master electricians, right? You have the project managers. Now, all that's inclusive in our projects, right? But they're also paid along the way, and there's a cost to that. There's overhead to that goes into that. So we created a way, at least we try to create a way to where we are a fit for everyone. And what we did was kind of, if anything, lessen the complexity, right? We just dumbed it down a little bit. And as opposed to saying like, hey, call this person, call that person, giving them a referral, now we'll take care of you too.
Yeah, it's important that we have become more adaptable. I think that, expands our customer base. And, I feel like if we can get to more customers, that improves the reputation and improves kind of everything that we got going. What's the most rewarding part about, being a renovation specialist and kind of a project manager too? You're very special in the way, like, you play to your strengths and you're taking on a little bit more than I have seen other renovation specialists take on.
Yeah, I mean, I would say project completion, sale, right? Getting the job, earning the trust, right? Earning the trust is number one. But then going through on our word and explaining why we are who we are, and then you get to see it, right? So just from, I almost call it cradle to grave, right? That before I would start the job and then kind of just hand it off, and then now I kind of start it, see it through, but I'm there the whole time as well. So I do take pride in my work. I take pride in that it's not the same as everyone else, right? But with that also comes its own challenges too. I've seen that, right? All that glitters is not gold. And, if you're going to be there to take the credit for the good, you got to be there to take the credit for the bad as well, which is what I will do. I will take it on the chin when it's bad. I will say yes. I try to do my best when it's good. But no matter what, be there regardless. We're not going to run from adversity. If there's any adversity, we're going to be there. We're going to handle it. We're going to get through it. And then we're going to come through on our word that we're going to deliver you a product. No matter how we get to the finish line, you're going to get what you pay for.
Are there any jobs in particular that come to mind that you've seen all the way through that you're super proud of? Anything in particular?
Yeah, I like when actually just completed. They're waiting on appliances. Only, and you just said, like, it came to mind. It's very fresh because we just finished. You meet clients sometimes that they end up more than clients, or you really, really want to help. Everyone has a story, right? But like sometimes without them making it a sob story, you really, really want to help these people and get them what they want and hopefully make it work to within their budget, right? Because there are those calls where I have to bring people down to reality sometimes, as far as like they see things on television and they think it's like, yeah, you turn around a kitchen and it takes 2 weeks and you could flip a house and sell it. That's not us, right? And the cost association of things, I have those conversations a lot and have to bring people down, almost like deliver bad news, right? Like, be the reality. I have no problem doing that, so then that way we're not setting false expectations. I want to set us up for success, not failure from the start, which is like those phone calls that come in and we navigate which route they're going to go, whether it's a design agreement, a consultation, a couple different ways to go here, right? I want to start us off down the right path, but at the same time, you meet a few special people along the way, and we just completed one. It was a older lady. I wouldn't even say older lady. She was just seasoned, right?
Yeah.
And she was a sweetheart, and she had a special needs son. And man, I just wanted to get them a kitchen that they wanted, and she told me her budget to start, and she was like so far away from reality, and I was like, I'm really sorry, like we can't do this. I can't even do this. I would lose money at my cost for that, right? I didn't say that, but like I knew that. It was just she had no clue. We ended up getting her what she wanted, and I take pride in that, right?
Yeah.
We help her, as opposed to if we get a job and there's an area where there's more profit to be made, right? Obviously, it's a business. We're here to make money, but there's certain circumstances where you help them and say, hey, here's what we're going to do in this situation. Go here, get this done, right? Save a couple dollars as opposed to me handling it for you. Put in some legwork yourself, and you will see what you're going to save, right? And if that helps the project get done, then like I'm all for that. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered, right? We're here to we have the same goal. Let's make this work.
Yeah. What's the one thing a homeowner should know before getting into the renovation process? I feel like a lot of the times, people come in, like you were saying, with like a bad idea of what timelines are, and the process is usually more in depth than I think a lot of people have. But from your perspective, what do you think that thing is?
Do your homework on who you choose. Yeah, if you look into, you just hear the horror stories of big contractors kind of running off on people, and it makes the news. I don't like those situations. It puts a black eye on our industry, right? We only worry about our side of the street because that's all that we can take care of, essentially. But just do your homework. And yeah, I try to let people know once they sign, before they sign, questions they ask. Hey, this isn't Amazon Prime, right? You're paying to get this done right. We're not just going to lipstick this thing. You are gutted down the stud. Everything is brand new. This takes time to be able to do that. And during the renovation, you at one point might want us out of here, right? You might be done with it. It flips your life upside down, right? If you're getting your kitchen done, first floor renovation, master bathroom, whatever it is, your daily life is altered, right? You could call it dramatically because you have to shift, right? You have children, it gets chaotic. But at the end, you're going to thank us.
Yeah.
At the end, you'll thank us. And that's what I see. I try to let people know, like, joking around, because I'm lighthearted. So, like, let's have fun with it, right? There's no need. We're doing business together. Let's have a great relationship. So I let them know, like, hey, at one point you might want to tell us to hit the road. But that's just because your expectations of how fast things get done might be a little bit different than actuality, right? One of the most important questions to ask, in my opinion, have you ever had a renovation to this extent done? If the answer is no, okay, they just gave you information that you have to inform them on some things. If it's not their first rodeo, they know what they're getting into.
Yeah. I feel like it's sometimes shocking to homeowners when they walk in after that first day of demo and there's nothing there. I can think of one job in particular where I was shooting the demo and I was there when the homeowners came in and they were just like, whoa. And then, like, what's cool though is we also think about the client. So in this particular instance, we were doing a kitchen first floor reno, but they still were living in the house. Clients have the opportunity to, some people like to, maybe move into a relative or move into an apartment for a little bit, an Airbnb or what have you, but that was just not in their budget and wheelhouse. So what we did was we essentially took their appliances and moved them into a space on the first floor that we were going to renovate last. And it still allowed it to be livable.
Temporary kitchen.
Yeah. And then we did the kitchen part first, moved the appliances back in. They're able to use the kitchen. And then we teared that part up and kind of move around from spot to spot, trying to make it still livable while we're working,
That's more than not.
Yeah.
You get the people who are like, yeah, we're going to go to our shore house for the summer. Like that's more than that. Not everyone has that access, right?
Yeah.
So the people that do, they have a leg up on convenience. But I never assume that. And I assume they can't go anywhere because that's most people.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into a little bit more about you.
Okay.
move away from Munz a little bit. I know you're a huge Eagles fan. I see on your Instagram all the time, you're at all the big games, great seats, all that type of stuff. Are there any games in particular that come to mind that you've been to recently that you love?
The NFC Championship.
I was about to say, I think you went to the whole playoffs last year, right?
Yeah, the NFC Championship, core memory.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the Super Bowl because of the prices, but honestly, the way that the prices, like anything, died right before I kicked myself because hopefully we get back. Who knows? Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I do enjoy the Eagles. There's not. I'm pretty simple as far as like things that I have to do for fun, and it's like golf,
Yep.
football, and then like my kids. So I'm not simple as far as like I'm very complex. If you're asking me, I understand that, right? And it might be like, the best way to describe it is like doesn't troll within the lines, right? But as far as like things that like make me tick, pretty simple in that fact. Football, play a little golf. As long as my kids and my family love me, I'm good.
Yeah. Any courses around here that you're that you love
around here?
Any one in particular?
Well, a sleeper. It's a little drive, but I would say Wingcoat.
Okay.
Wingcoat. And I played golf for high school growing up here, so all the courses around here I pretty much played. The only one still yet to get on, which Chris told us he was getting on, but you know how that goes with him, is Squires.
Yeah.
That's the only one we still have to get off on. His buddy is a member there and said we could, but other than that, pretty much everything has been played. Not conquered.
Yeah, but
played.
played. Yeah, a little info about me is that when I first came to Munz, I had an office right by Anthony's, and I heard a lot of golf talk, and I was like, that's something I want to get into. So the past year, I have been practicing, and I'm hoping next summer, when the time comes, I can make it out there and show you guys what I got, because my brother is super into golf. I am now very much into the golfing Instagram and social media world. I just have to buy a decent set of clubs. I inherited clubs from my father, but I'm really waiting kind of until Black Friday, Christmas time, seeing if I can get a good deal or something, because golf clubs can get really expensive. You know what I mean?
We'll work out a payment plan.
Yeah. But I low-key was inspired by you and hearing you guys, all the guys coming to talk about golf. It's like, that's something that I want to
It's
get
for
into.
the fellas.
Yeah.
It's for the fellas. But to break it down to, like, I have kids, so sports are more than sports, right? Sports is life, teaches you lessons. Why I like golf is because it's not like the longer time you put in equals that you're better. It's consistency. I've been golfing since I was 14. If I don't play a lot of golf that year, you wouldn't be able to know that I golfed since I was 14.
Yeah.
So it's challenging. I like something that is challenging. You want to talk about reward, right? What's the most rewarding job? Like once you kind of complete something, that's a reward. You don't complete golf. It keeps going, right?
Yeah.
And then the better you get, then your goal the field goal push just keeps moving and moving. Same with life, right? You achieve a goal, you want to add another one, and then just level up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to lock down the fundamentals. I think with everything in life, it's just like, if you lock down the fundamentals, everything else will come. You got to practice and just have a good technique. Can't get too fancy with it,
Less is more in golf.
Yeah.
Less is more, but it's hard when you're in the backswing and you just want to rope it 350.
Yeah.
Versus nice and easy.
Yeah. I come from more of a baseball background. I played baseball, through, elementary school, middle school, and high school. So there were a lot of habits that I had to kill off from the baseball. And those things at first were like just ingrained in me. And golf is the most mental game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I think almost exclusively mental. Like,
yeah, you can get like you could say like a hitter slump, right? A batter slump is mental, But yeah, golf is mental. If you start standing over the ball and you talk about it's the world of YouTube, which has completely changed golf, right?
Yeah.
If you start like remembering the clips you watched before that, and you're like, all right, do this, and you're a robot, forget it. You're cooked. You're done. If you get mechanical, it's out. It's when you're quiet, you're fluid, right? That's when you found that zone. But I would also say swing your swing. 'Cause there's a couple golfers out there, including the number one golfer in the world, that have some weird, unorthodox swings, and it works for them.
Yeah.
An older golfer, Jim Furyk, ugly swing, professional golfer, swing your swing.
Yeah. But it's a lot different than baseball in the way, like, the pitch is coming and it's reactionary. There's like more of it's more of a gut feeling. When the golf ball is in front of you, it's like staring you in the face and it's challenging you and it's all on you. Like in baseball, you got the pitchers in it, the catchers in it. When you're hitting, the field doesn't really come into mind, but like,
well, you have an opponent.
Yeah.
You don't have an opponent. It's you versus you in golf.
Yeah.
Which is, I could say, a lot of times in life is like the only person who's going to stop you is you, right? So at least in most sports, it's like you versus whoever it may be. You're playing, you might have an opponent in golf. You're trying to beat them. You're trying to score better. But you're up against yourself out there. No one's going to try and stop you from hitting that ball. No one's going to move in front of your putt. No one's going to try and mess up your read. Well, your fellas, your boys might if you're messing around. But all in all, it's a solo game.
Yeah. What parts of golf have helped you in the construction game?
I say business-minded. I would say more business than construction because that's the realm that I tend to lean with, at least here, is you start something, you finish it. That's what I meant when I said like sports pertain to life. Now that you're older, you have a little wisdom, right? It's like you can't get it early. I wish you could gain the wisdom with the age earlier. It's just not a thing. At least for me, it wasn't. And you see the things that our parents tried to ingrain in us when we were younger that was kind of in one ear and out the other. I now try to do that with my kids, and I see what my parents were trying to do at that time, looking back now. So I would say overcoming obstacles, right? I like to bite off more than I can chew and then just figure out how to chew it. The only thing that's ever stopped me was a healthy fear. But at one point, someone let me know the term, like, as far as my weaknesses, right? Everybody, you're talking about strengths. What about your weaknesses, right? Try to at least recognize them. I will try to overanalyze sometimes, right? And it was called paralysis by analysis, right?
Okay.
So I see that sometimes in me, and I want to have everything figured out. When I'm very comfortable, it doesn't matter. Throw me in the room full of vultures, I will show you how to get out. I'm comfortable in that. If I don't know the world I'm going in, I try to figure out every little detail first, and that's just not a reality. Sometimes you kind of got to just take the leap of faith, so to speak. And golf, going for, you got to clear the water. It's 240 to carry it, to get over the water. Just go for it, right? As opposed to like, well, what's the wind? What's this? It's the barometric pressure today because of the sun is 82% humidity. Just go, right? Stop thinking up here and just go. I try to do that. There's things that I didn't know in this field that I have figured out by being forced to figure out. So as far as the question that you asked me, I think that's probably the answer that would best suit what you asked.
Yeah, I try to do the same stuff. Take on as much as I can and figure it out,
Yeah,
I think that's a good,
funny, dude.
Yeah, and I think there's a healthy fear in me when I'm trying to do things that I've never done. And like golf, you get out onto the course and I'm scared. Mainly, I'm not scared about what people think, I'm scared about letting myself down in a lot of ways, you know. But then you just have to do it, you know.
How about fear of success?
That's not really something I've ever really thought about.
So I'll put
What do you
it
mean
to
by
this
that?
way. You get to where you want to be, or you start to see that you're on that trajectory to get to where you want to be. And in your head, you wait for the other shoe to drop. Like, no, this is too good. You look around like, what's going on, right? Like Ashton Kutcher's going to come out of the door and punk you.
Yeah.
Right? I found out I had a slight fear of success in that regard. Not that I was scared to be successful, but like as I saw growth, not just with work, with life, I sometimes would doubt that trajectory is going to stay, and that like there's going to be something's going to happen and knock it back down.
Yeah.
So I've had to work on that. I found out through trial and error how to overcome that. So like it didn't make sense when someone said you had a fear of success to me. I'm like, no, I don't. What are you talking about? That's what I aspire for. That's what no matter what it is, even when you hit that, I want to get another layer of success. Yeah. But I did when they broke it down to me like that, and I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Now you got me thinking about myself. That's something we could, that's deep, man. That's something that I'm going to have to think about after this pod, man.
The only person that's lived, from my experience, the only person that can stop me is me.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have a lot of the same thoughts, right, as far as that goes. So
yeah,
that's not the case for everyone. I guess that's a privilege problem, right? That's a good problem to have if that's your issue. Some people are limited, whether it's like cognitive, whether it's mechanically, whatever it is, right? Like I'm mechanically inclined, right? Like I know that, like I could build I promise you need an addition, whatever you need, but like you don't want me doing the building, right? I am, again, I can connect the dots for you. And I saw that the owner of this company can connect dots, and it made me feel a little bit more comforted that like that's someone similar to me, right? That has those strengths that built what they built.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's pretty, doesn't make me feel so left out at that point.
Yeah.
Right?
That's kind of one of the reasons why I started here. I picked up on that in my first interview. I was like, it's like, I see a lot of similarities between Chris and I, and Eric and Rich and all that type of stuff. So I'm like, I think this is a good fit for me. And
I see the differences of all the personalities.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it makes it go. Because you don't want all yes men.
Right.
A bunch of yes men will get you nowhere, right? You have someone who has a different point of view, and then you hear this different perspective, and they're like, okay, what about this? Well, what about this? And then all of a sudden the third person's in. When there's bigger meetings within this company, it's never really going to be a one-on-one meeting. There's going to be another person there for another point of view, or at least to oversee, to make sure that that's just what I've noticed. And at first I wondered why, but I know why now. You know, sometimes there's one-on-one meetings needed, right? But when there's a big decision to be made, I've seen him, big man, check his ego at the door and say, what do you think, right? And leave it up to others and kind of let them do what they do.
That's important. Let's go into the final segment. Have you seen the rapid fire segment in any of our previous podcasts?
No, I feel like I'm about to.
Okay, so what I do is I ask the same series of questions to everyone. I ask them quickly. You can give me a one-word answer. You can elaborate. You know, take time to think about it, whatever you want. But yeah, are you ready? All right, let's do it. Are you a coffee or tea guy?
Coffee.
Coffee? Red Bull guy too. I just wanted to mention, got him a Red Bull because I remember being next to your office, just hearing that crack every morning or every morning, afternoon.
I'm just trying to get a sponsor.
Yeah. Every morning or afternoon, I would hear that. I'm like, all right, Anthony's on the go. I need to pick up my slack and wake up here.
I know my belly waistline also realizes it when I'm too deep by 11:30 a.m.
Yeah. What is your favorite place to grab lunch?
Ever or local? Because we're about to go there. Do they know about Pastrami Fridays?
They do not.
All right. Well, it's rapid fire, so I don't want to unwrapping it, but I would say local. We'll just say Manny's.
Yeah.
For the pastrami.
Yeah, I'll give them a little bit of background. Anthony, Matt, and I, when we were all in the same section of offices, would
Section 8.
Section 8, yeah, of offices.
So we called it.
Yep.
Very nice. We just called it Section 8.
Yeah, we would get pastrami sandwiches from Manny's Deli down the street on Fridays, and it became a good.
Didn't it
little
start
ritual.
where you didn't know though when we said you have to try one?
Yes, you guys were, because I told them I'm a big deli guy. I love a good sandwich, and then you guys were like, "Got to try that place." And
Yeah.
before the bridge was down, I was going there 3 to 4 times a week after you guys left, because I would.
Forgot about the bridge.
Yeah, you have to
That is
drive.
around the way.
You have to drive.
Toss it over.
Yeah, like 8 to 10 minutes now. But yeah, there's a good every Friday ritual I really look forward to, and sad that you guys
We've
left.
since
but-
separated, but now
but
we're
I think it was better for my health,
and the podcast.
and the podcasts. All right, next one. What's one skill outside of work that you would love to master?
It's a good question. Like, is there like a limit to like a life skill?
Could be anything. Like, I think our last podcast, Bernie said card tricks and chess, and other people say patience and stuff like that. So it varies.
The
Like, whatever
stock market.
The stock market. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Trading.
I've always wanted to do the day trading stuff. I just know it takes a lot of skill and time.
That would be something to master.
Yeah.
Because only 10% of humans on Earth can do it successfully and profitably.
Yeah. If you weren't in construction, what do you think you'd be doing?
I would love to manage a hedge fund.
Okay. All kind of tied together there. And then the final question. Tell me 3 fun facts about you that we haven't already talked about.
Not too exciting. Golf was normally my. I'm double jointed.
Okay.
Double jointed. I consider myself a good father.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm about to be 40 years old.
All right. You don't come across as 40.
I'll
crazy.
take it.
It's awesome.
I'll take it.
I'm 28, and I feel like we get along well. It's like you're a very personable guy,
Yeah, the same thing that
so-
makes you laugh makes you cry though too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could talk to anyone, but sometimes I got to learn to be quiet as well.
Yeah, I feel that. All right. Well, that is it. So thank you so much, Anthony, for joining us on the Don't Move, Improve podcast by Munz Construction. You can check us out on YouTube, Spotify, and anywhere you can get a podcast. Thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you on the next one.